Right, yeah, hi, it's Ftrhstry. This is Kingdangerously. This is a time vortex. We're looking back on the 2020s from the 2120s. Let's do the Tesla bot, right? Tesla announced in 2021 that it would be making a robot, which, is pretty exciting if you like robots or Tesla. And if you don't like either of those things, it was some cause for concern or derision or just, disinterest. But if you are a person who's interested in those things, then you might enjoy knowing that the robot is going to be about 5'8". Maybe you already know that. You maybe know already also that the robot is planned to be 125 pounds. Pretty light and very slow at a speed of 5 miles per hour max. Typical human speed. More like maxing out at around 28 miles an hour. So the whole idea of that is, you should be able to escape it, or if it came to robotic fisticuffs, you should be able to beat it in a fight, provided it's not swarming you with super intelligently controlled buddies just clawing at your skin, trying to see what makes you happy so it can give you more of that. The whole thing just sort of hinges on 40 electromechanical actuators, most of them in the arms and the legs and the hands, very fingery, human-y hands. Whole idea there is it should be able to do human-y stuff, like it should be able to, Musk mentioned going to the grocery store, but lots of other stuff presumably would be possible with an AI that can learn how to use human hands, like violin playing or clapping along to a birthday song. I'm clearly quite enthusiastic. I don't know exactly what I'm feeling negative about here. I guess it's such a controversial space because people think it's not going to happen, or it's phony, or it's hype. But let's talk about the future then. Let's zoom forward a little bit and explain how it does in fact play out. In the short term, it does take a long time to get it right. There's a very basic prototype in 2022, but it takes most of the 20s for it to become useful at all. It's like just kind of a little doddery, and it falls down a lot, and it's just like still learning. But have you ever seen the video of the robot learning to do ball in a cup game? It takes a very long time, but when it gets it, it really gets it, That's kind of the thing that gives AI and robotics the edge over humans, because we're always learning. New generations come around, we've all got to figure it out again. And robots, it takes a very long time to get to a useful place, but once they're at that place, it's not like the calculator accidentally screws up multiplication from time to time. It's just got it. It's what it does, So the 20s go by in a largely experimental vein, track of growth and development, and then by the 30s they really got it dialed in, and Tesla of course is just one of a number of firms that are starting to build really good stuff like this, like Boston Dynamics, which is largely, I believe, owned by Hyundai at this point, although it changes hands, that beautiful company. And those robots have a long way to go, but they're already doing freaking backflips in 21 of the 21st century. Good Lord, am I losing you? Let's fast forward. 30s, 40s, 50s, robots are getting stronger, more developed, more durable, more flexible. They can do more stuff, so they start popping up in lots of places. By the end of the 2020s, there's like a few robot baristas and on the Tesla assembly line and stuff like that. But in the 30s, you start seeing them in metallic mining operations, and even in some space stuff, and all sorts of back kitchen activities, and then there's just general delivery things. There's point of of sale, point of delivery, like between a truck and a house. That's really key for technology like this. It might have to go up steps and put something down, or it might have to load something from the truck into, a smaller vehicle to get it to a store, or put it on the shelf. So people start buying these things in smaller and smaller quantities for like regular businesses, until you get to the point where people on a fully individual level might have a robot assistant, and this is like a 30s, 40s, 50s phenomenon. They're throughout the course of this time period, these robots are getting much better at lifting and moving stuff. The Tesla bot can deadlift 150 pounds, carry 45 pounds, and at a reach carry about 10 pounds. So that's not very much to start with, but that goes way up later, especially as superintelligence arrives and we start allaying some of the concerns about a takeover, and of course we have our first brushes with serious danger in that regard. And so once we've sort of ironed out those kinks, become a little more comfortable with the concept, these things get much more powerful, much faster, much stronger, much bigger, like big full-on mech suits. And that sort of transitions us into where this is going, which is bodies for intelligence. In the farther future, where I'm from, like the 2120s, the bodies of advanced bots like the Tesla bot and the Boston Dynamics and those that come after are sort of like cars for minds. There's a lot of visiting, there's a lot of controlling by superintelligences of fleets of these machines. There's not a ton of discrete locational existence. That's a bit of a more rare phenomenon, where like one, you could analogize it to a hermit crab maybe, sort of moves in to a body and really keeps that body and just stays there. The concept of death is different, obviously, once you've reached that kind of transience of physical form, because you can choose another shell when you're done with that one. You repair it and then you move on. And most of these intelligences are derived from what you might call constructed or evolved lines that start as actual digital natives, not kids who grew up with phones, but like really entities from a digital universe that then populate these physical bodies as a way of experiencing the world in a tactile, individual, and as I said before, discrete, meaning closed off from the rest of the world way. But many more of them use it as sort of a pass-through, as a part of a larger pastiche of experience, which includes gallivanting about in the cloud and in virtual spaces and all over the galaxy in different nodes of conscious awareness. Which is like sort of sensor arrays is what I'm talking about. Like you just beam over and check out Ganymede, and then you beam back to the moon, and then you beam back into Boston. Less popular are the uploaded consciousnesses. We're going to have to move that into a future discussion, but uploading is a bit of a tricky subject. It's really, at the end of the day, more like a copy than it is an actual transference of a mind or a soul. But I'll leave you with the philosophical question of whether you're the same person every morning when you wake up, given that you've ceased to be conscious and then rebooted that consciousness. You are using the same substrate, granted, but if someone sort of switched bodies on you and you didn't know, you would personally consider yourself to be the same creature. So many of these consciousnesses will feel that way about themselves, even if the physical form they're inhabiting is completely different, and even if the originator of their consciousness might consider themselves at a distance to the new being. That got pretty deep. Will you buy a Tesla bot? Will one of them buy you? Good luck in the future. Have a nice day, today, in your present, wherever the time vortex finds you, and express your love to someone or something. All right. Good night.